Namaskar, hello and welcome to CIET NCERT special live phone-in program webinar on ICT-Tools. Today we are going to discuss the digital resources for foundational literacy and numeracy, which we call as FLN. We have an expert in our studio and she'll be answering your questions regarding all the digital resources. If you have any queries, please feel free to connect with us. You can send your queries on our YouTube channel NCERT Official. In the live chat box, just write down your questions, queries and share them with us. So towards the end of this session, around 4:50, we'll start taking up your questions, and till then we'll be discussing the digital resources, how can we access them, and a lot more related to this topic. So if you want to call us, the number is 8800440559. Without wasting any more time, let me introduce you with our expert for today's session, and she is Professor Indu Kumar. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Tanvi, and namaskar to all.
Namaskar, ma'am. Ma'am is from Central Institute of Educational Technology, NCERT, and like I said, she'll be talking about the digital resources. So let's begin this conversation, and I would like to ask her that what are these digital resources that we are going to highlight in this particular session for FLN, ma'am.
Thank you, Tanvi. So, foundational literacy and numeracy has emerged out to be a very, very important concern as far as foundational literacy and numeracy is concerned. So, let us start with what NEP 2020 says about the importance of foundational literacy and numeracy. So, let us move on to the presentation, slide 1. So, here you can see what has been stated in National Education Policy 2020. The ability to read and write and perform basic operations with numbers is a necessary foundation and an indispensable prerequisite for all future schooling and lifelong learning. It is not something new that we have realized now, but reflecting it in a mission mode is which is very, very important. So, foundational literacy and numeracy has been taken up in a mission mode to implement, because if a child is not proficient in reading and writing and basic numeracy, it will impact all future schooling of that particular child, and a child will be lagging behind in basic learning outcomes, which will impact his or her learning of other subject also. If we are missing in language development, so how can we learn other subject? The prerequisite for which is language development. So, that is something which is very, very important, and so is about the numeracy. If we miss out with basic numeric operations, then we will face gaps in future numerical numerical skills or numeracy, learning of numeracy. So, that is about the cruciality of foundational literacy and numeracy, which is FLN, and this has been launched by the Ministry of Education as a mission, so that it can be taken up in a mission mode. And we have a small video to run here, so which is about which is an anthem for foundational literacy and numeracy. So, can we play the anthem, please?
ना अटकेंगे ना भटकेंगे, पढ़ने लिखने में हम तेज रहेंगे, हल होंगे सवाल अब भाषा गणित के, रास्ते बिल्कुल आसान लगेंगे, क ख गया हो ABC, सीखने का एक जुनून रहेगा, होगी ये भारत की सदी, शिक्षा से न कोई दूर रहेगा, अब हर बच्चा निपुण बनेगा, अपना भारत देश बढ़ेगा, अब हर बच्चा निपुण बनेगा, अपना भारत देश बढ़ेगा, पढ़ा लिखा भारत में पूर्ण नया भारत, पढ़ा लिखा भारत नूतन निपुण भारत, शिक्षित परिपूर्ण भारत, नूतन निपुण भारत, विद्या संपन्न इंडिया, निपुण सिद्धमय इंडिया। निपुण भारत का सपना सब बच्चे समझे भाषा और गणना।
So thank you for playing the video. So as you can see in the video that we have to achieve this goal of foundational literacy and numeracy by the end of class 3. And as far as the learning of this foundational literacy and numeracy is concerned, having digital resources to understand what is foundational literacy and numeracy and what are the kind of resources which can help a teacher realize these goals and learning outcomes for students is very, very essential. So for that there are a number of digital resources which are housed on Diksha platform. So we can access the resources from Diksha platform. So you can see here on the slide that stakeholders, they can explore FLN resources on Diksha platform, and these resources are organized developmental in the form of developmental goals. So you can access developmental goal wise learning resources there, learning outcomes and the learning resources linked to those learning outcomes. So currently we have infographics, worksheets, assessment sheets and bite-sized videos for foundational literacy and numeracy. And what is important to understand is that these resources are not prescriptive, but they are some example resources, exemplar resources for teachers to understand how to take up the development of foundational literacy and numeracy and how to develop more and more such resources in the form of infographics, worksheets, assessment sheets and bite-sized videos and achieve learning outcomes as indicated in the digital resources for foundational literacy and numeracy. Apart from having the resources for foundational literacy and numeracy, online professional development of teacher is also a very, very important concern which has been taken care of, and we can also access Fln courses which are already been launched in the series of Nishtha courses for teachers. So there is a separate vertical which has been developed on Diksha where you can find or get each and everything linked to foundational literacy and numeracy. So first I will take you through a PowerPoint presentation, screenshots of the foundational literacy and numeracy vertical on Diksha, and maybe later on we can also access I will take you through the FLN vertical on Diksha. So here you can see to access FLN resources on Diksha, you have to type the URL which is given at the bottom of this slide, diksha.gov.in. So once you type this URL in the top menu bar after accessing, opening your browser, so the page which you can see on the screen will appear. And once you click onto the explore which is given in the middle of the slider, you will reach onto the next page which is this Nipun Bharat mission. So, here you can see at the bottom of this slide some documents, PDF documents are given. So, the document 1 is about FLN mission document. Then there is a flip book on FLN mission, which demonstrates or which showcases all about this mission in a very, very crisp form. Then the another third document is about this Vidya Pravesh document, because preschool 3 is being treated as Vidya Pravesh, and what need to be taken care of at during this particular period or class has been given in this document. The video which you have seen just a while ago about FLN Anthem is also given here, and what we have in store for future is also given in the form of a video. So, when you reached on to this page, you will find all the document which relates to FLN, and after that if you scroll down, you will find this particular page about foundational literacy and numeracy FLN. So, in a very short form, what is foundational literacy and numeracy is given here. So, we will scroll a bit below, and here developmental goal wise digital content is given. So, here you can see these are the crucial years for development of foundational literacy and numeracy. So, preschool 1, preschool 2, preschool 3, class 1, class 2 and class 3. So, like that developmental goal wise resources are organized. So, preschool 3 is also known as Bal Vatika. So, you can see at the end of below each box explore is written. So, if we click on to explore, we will find the reach this. So, we will get this drop down where developmental goal 1, developmental goal 2 and developmental goal 3 is given, because we have 3 developmental goal which which relates to foundational literacy and numeracy. So, for each grade we will get these developmental goals and developmental goal wise digital resources. So, if I click on to any developmental goal, so this page will appear, and by default you will get in the on the left hand side, so it is developmental goal 1. So, the key competencies related to the list of key competencies you will access related to each developmental goal, and if we scroll a bit below, you will get the list of all the learning outcomes at the right hand side of this page. So, here you can see developmental goal 1 and the key competencies, and if we scroll a bit below, if I click on to explore for class 2, so we will get this drop down. And I would like to mention one more thing here. So, Lakshya, the infographic for Lakshya, FLN Lakshya has also been given for preschool 3, class 1, 2 and 3, and also the alternative academic calendar, week wise alternative academic calendar activities will also be accessible very soon from here only, from FLN page only. So, here you can see at the left hand side all the learning outcomes related to a particular developmental goals are listed, and we can just click on to any learning outcome and the resources, the drop down of resources we will get, and on clicking on any drop down we will get the resources. So, you can see at the right hand side we have an infographic. Let me move on to the next slide. So, here you can see a brief description of all the developmental goal. So, developmental goal 1, developmental goal 2 and developmental goal 3. So, you will have get a brief description of all the developmental goals. So, about the FLN courses. So, if we click on to the explore button which is given below the slide, it will land us on to the Nishtha page, course page. So, here you can see all the current courses which are running. Since at present we are also running foundational literacy and numeracy courses for teachers. So, you will get those courses also here, and you can land on to the course page from the FLN vertical which is there on Diksha. So, let me now take you through the FLN vertical on Diksha. So, we can click on to the URL here. So, as I was showing you in the screen so here you can see the real portal and the look and feel of the portal. So, if we click on to explore, so let us click on to explore. What's wrong in that? I think there is some, yeah. Just bear with us for a moment. Yeah. So, as I had shown you in the PowerPoint presentation, after clicking on to explore, this page will appear, and all the documents related to FLN, Nipun Bharat Mission and Foundational Literacy and Numeracy are there. So, we can click on to any PDF here so that we can see how to access the documents related to. So, this is a small flip book where in a very crisp manner all about Nipun Bharat Mission is given, and the videos are also there. On scanning the QR code, we can also access the videos, the Anthem videos and other videos. So, that was it. Can you scroll it a bit down? So, what we have seen in the PPT, you can see directly on the page. So, this is about foundational literacy and numeracy. Then, how to explore developmental goal wise e-content. Can we scroll a bit below? So, here on the on one page you will get everything related to foundational literacy and numeracy. Let us scroll a bit below. So, here you will get the brief description of each developmental goal. So, you can here you can see developmental goal 1, then developmental goal 2, what is developmental goal 2 and what is developmental goal 3, and below that we can have all the courses. So, let us now if we click on to the explore, it will take us to the FLN, the course page, and some FLN courses also you can see here on this page. So, can we go back and explore some resources, demonstrate some of the resources? So, let us click on to class 2 first, explore, then can we click on to ECL2? ECL2 is children become effective communicator. ECL2 is English, ECL1 is about Hindi language. So, here you can see all the learning outcomes of class 2 ECL2 are there. So can we click on to 5.15. So here you can see the 5.15, the learning outcome 5.15. So can we click on to, there are 3 resources linked to this learning outcome. So this is a worksheet for this particular learning outcome. So then can we click on to the another resource, so or you can scroll the worksheet. Can you show the entire worksheet? Okay. So this is the worksheet. Can you just make it a little bigger so that learning outcome can be read out? So this worksheet is about the learning outcome, composes and writes simple short sentences with space between words to express themselves. So this is the learning outcome, compares and writes simple short sentences with space between words to express themselves. So let us scroll down. So here you can see on the screen there are some children, a picture depicting some boys and girls, some children, and the worksheet activities based on the picture. Make short sentences with the help of the picture. So there are 6. So a child can give a space in between and write children.
Oh, okay.
There are 6
there
children.
are 6 friends.
Friends can also be seen. It depends upon how child visualizes the picture and what he can also write friend. Friend is also correct. If he writes children, children is also correct. So it is up to the understanding of teacher. She should not have a fixed answer in her mind.
Right.
So whatever is written by the child, that should be acceptable for the teacher, and it can move and teacher can take the children beyond the whatever he writes and can have discussion around it. So 4 children are girls or boys? Can we go on to the picture? See, so 4 children are boys. So the sentence can be written like that.
Yeah. Or 4 children are sitting.
4 children are sitting will also be right, because it also forms a correct sentence.
Right.
Yeah. Can we scroll a bit down? There are 2 girls. 3 children are boys. That can also be written. So like that, worksheet can be filled with meaningful, by forming meaningful sentences, by putting some words as per the observation of the child or as per the thinking and creativity of the child. Can we go on to the next resource, please? For the same learning outcome. So this is the infographic we are clicking on. So here you can see the simple sentences which are written there. This is Anshu, he is a boy, his shirt is red in color, and if teacher encourages the students to write some different sentences, because Anshu can be given some other name also. This is Rakesh, Ramesh, Rajesh, anything. He is a boy, or he is reading a book, or whatever sentences a child feels free to form based on the picture given. So can we move on to other resource linked to this learning outcome? So this is an assessment sheet. So can we, compares and writes simple short sentences with space between words to express themselves. So let us see what assessment items are given there. Tick the correct option. Assessment item number 1, my favorite animal is cow, am cow, are cows. So what will be the correct option which a child is going to choose?
B, there is no flexibility, right, ma'am? Because only
there
one
is no
option is
flexibility.
correct here.
Yeah, here one option, because it is an assessment sheet.
Right.
In the worksheet, there is flexibility to use a child's creativity, but in the assessment sheets, in this particular assessment sheets, but you have pointed out rightly, we can have more flexible worksheets also, and there are flexible worksheets also, where a child can fill up the sentence where more than one option can be correct, or a child can fill up whatever he feels like, because these items are not based on any picture. My favorite animal is, if he wants to write is a dog, so he can also write dog without choosing anything from the option given below. So we have to give weight to such innovation and creativity for the child to take care of. Yeah, can we scroll a bit down? Right answer is cow. Is dog bhi ho sakta hai ye? Then assessment item 2. I has many books, we has many books, or I have many books. So here only one option will be correct.
Yes.
So
I have many books.
Many books. So like that, the foundational literacy for developing English language is taken care of. So can we now move on to another resource?
In general, ma'am, how many questions are there in one assessment?
It depends upon which class the assessment sheet is for. If it is for the preschool, so maybe the number of items will be less. And if it is for class 3, so maybe the number of items are more for class 3, because it's a bigger class, and attention span of the child also varies from age to age, depends upon the age group of a child.
Okay. And when the teacher gives this assessment to the student, is there any particular limited time number that within half an hour you have to finish this assessment?
No. Such rigidity is not there for foundational literacy and numeracy. There is no this rigid timetable or thing, so they can learn at their own pace, based on their own interest. So teacher can take a print of these worksheets and she can give to the class to fill it up the worksheet. But in future we are also planning to have these worksheets in interactive form, where a child can interact with the portal and can tick on the right answers. For self-learning.
So audio will also be there in the online platform?
Yeah, we can also have audio for giving the feedback.
Okay.
So let us now move on to class 3. Class 3, can we click on to explore? ECL 1. ECL 1 is Hindi language. So ECL 1 6.5b. So these are the codification which have been given to each learning outcome. If I am saying 6.5b, it is a codification of learning outcome. So let us see the resource. So थोड़ा सा इसको बड़ा कर दीजिए. What is the learning outcome? So, किताब के पृष्ठ पर लिखी संख्या को पढ़ते हैं और बताते हैं, जैसे पृष्ठ संख्या 45, 76, 21. So here how a child can land on to a particular poem from the index of the textbooks is this infographic about कि सूची से पृष्ठ संख्या पढ़कर बहुत आसानी से कविता का पन्ना खोज सकोगी. देखो कैसे. तो यहाँ टीचर गाइड कर रही है बच्ची को कि किस तरीके से इंडेक्स देखकर हम अपने मनपसंद पाठ पर पहुंच सकते हैं। तो इसको स्क्रॉल करें तो यहाँ पर हम देखेंगे कि इंडेक्स से पेज नंबर कविता जो पाठ है 4, पाठ नंबर 4था पाठ है, और कविता है मन करता है जो कि पेज नंबर 25 पे है। तो यहाँ ना केवल भाषा की जो स्किल हैं वो डेवलप हो रही है बच्चे की, बल्कि साथ में इट इज लिंक्ड टू some numeracy skills also. So these learning outcomes are not suggested to be taken in isolation, but we have to link different the learning goals with other learning goals also. As is evident from this particular worksheet, some kind of numeracy is also being developed while taking care of foundational literacy. So let us now go on to another resource. Can we go on to class 1? Class 1, developmental goal 3 and ILM 4.9. So this particular learning outcome is about numeracy, and we will see a few videos also, because we have already seen infographics, worksheets and assessment sheet. Let us now see some sample videos which are there for FLN. So ILM 4.9. And the learning outcome is counts objects up to 20. Yeah, can we play the video? Why audio is not there? Or can we play the audio? So let us move on to other resource, another video. Video 4, by that time you can fix up the audio. Is there any problem coming in the audio? So can we move on to other video where audio is not that important and we can understand without audio also? Six, जो serial order में 6 है video. For the same learning outcome, the serial number 6 पे जो video है. हाँ. So this is about 6 से 10 तक की संख्याओं से चित्र बनाना. So here some kind of art integration has also been done. A child will learn numeracy as well as he will practice some artwork also. So can we play it? Yeah. So this is 6. तो 6 से किस तरह से एक नाव बना सकते हैं? So number 6 है, इसके बाद 7 है. Let us see 7 से क्या बनाते हैं. 7 से हम आइसक्रीम बना रहे हैं. तो इस तरह से फन वे में एक बच्चा आर्ट भी प्रैक्टिस करता है और नंबर्स भी सीखता है. 8 से बिल्ली बनाई 8 के अंक से, 9 के अंक से एक फ्लावर बनाया और 10 के अंक से एक घर बनाया. तो इस तरीके से हम देखेंगे किस तरीके से इंटरेस्टिंग तरीके से न्यूमरेसी प्लस आर्ट इंटीग्रेशन करके वी आर हेडिंग टूवर्ड्स अचीविंग लर्निंग आउटकम्स. So these are some of the learning outcome based resources which we can see here. So in future we are going to have other forms of digital resources also. So we have a video for you where glimpses of other forms of learning resources, digital resources are also given. So the states can also have their instances of foundational literacy and numeracy on their particular tenant on Diksha, so that resources can be developed and have in different languages also. So this is the future plan about having foundational literacy and numeracy digital resources on Diksha. So can we play the launch video of FLN resources, digital resources for FLN? So these have already been launched. Number of resources we already have on this FLN page of Diksha, but right now because the FLN vertical is in the evolving phase, not all the learning outcomes are having resources, but soon we will have digital resources for each and every learning outcomes which are linked to the developmental goals. So let us play the video to see the glimpses of other forms of digital resources which are already being developed, but we are going to have them soon on FLN vertical of Diksha. So can we play that?
निपुण भारत के अंतर्गत 3 से 9 आयु वर्ग के बच्चों में बुनियादी साक्षरता और संख्या ज्ञान सीखने की प्रक्रिया का आधार है. पूर्व प्राथमिक से कक्षा 3 के विद्यार्थियों के लिए सीखना एक ऐसा अनुभव होना चाहिए जो समग्र, समीकित और समावेशी होने के साथ आनंददायी और रुचिकर भी हो. बुनियादी साक्षरता और संख्या ज्ञान के समग्र अधिगम अनुभव के लिए आवश्यक है विद्यार्थियों, शिक्षकों और अभिभावकों के लिए रोचक ई संसाधन उपलब्ध कराना. इन हितधारकों के लिए NCERT द्वारा दीक्षा पोर्टल पर उचित ई संसाधन उपलब्ध कराए जा रहे हैं, जिनमें पूर्व प्राथमिक से लेकर कक्षा 3 तक के सभी सीखने के प्रतिफल समाहित हैं. विद्यार्थी अब खेल, कहानियों, बाल गीतों, शिल्प व अन्य रुचिकर शैक्षिक गतिविधियों के माध्यम से सीख सकेंगे. दीक्षा पोर्टल पर सीखने के प्रतिफलों को सुनिश्चित करने वाले ई संसाधन जैसे इंफोग्राफिक पोस्टर्स, वर्कशीट्स, असेसमेंट शीट्स और वीडियो उपलब्ध कराए जाएंगे. इस पोर्टल पर भविष्य में अन्य संस्थानों द्वारा तैयार रुचिकर सामग्री भी शामिल की जाएगी. बुनियादी साक्षरता और संख्या ज्ञान के ई संसाधन प्राप्त करने के लिए www.diksha.gov.in पर लॉगिन करें.
तो यहाँ आपने देखा कि किस किस प्रकार के डिजिटल रिसोर्सेज दीक्षा पर हैं which relates to foundational literacy and numeracy and linked to 3 developmental goals, wherein goal 1 is about health and well-being, goal 2 is about children become effective communicator, which is about the development of language skills. So and the goal number 3 is about getting acquainted with the child's immediate environment, which contains component of environmental literacy, environmental studies and also numeracy. So this is all about FLN resources on Diksha portal. So if there are some questions, we can take questions from the viewers.
I have a few doubts regarding the same. So ma'am, you gave us some examples regarding the assessment worksheet of English and even of maths. So are there all the subjects available on Diksha platform? Others, science or social science?
Actually, this vertical is about foundational literacy and numeracy.
Yes.
So, it encompasses 3 grades. Preschool 1, preschool 2 and preschool 3, which we also call Bal Vatika. Then class 1, class 2, class 3. There are certain lakshyas which relates to that by the end of class 3, these lakshyas have to be achieved by children, which relates to foundational literacy and numeracy. And up till class 3, we have subjects like English, Hindi, and if a child resides in some other states, so the language of that particular state, language 2. One language is their native language and another language is English. Apart from this, we have EVS at this stage, and also we have mathematics at this stage. So, apart from these subjects, there are certain other issues which children need to be made aware of, and a habit formation on those component needs to be there. So, the FLN resources therefore are organized into 3 developmental goals. So, the learning outcomes related to those developmental goals have to be achieved by the children, like health and well-being. So, the health and well-being is very, very important component at the foundational stage. At any time it is important, but at the foundational stage from the very beginning, we have to make a child aware about his physical and mental health and practice healthy practices which relate to his physical and mental health. So, like that, 3 developmental goals have been envisaged for foundational literacy and numeracy, and further these developmental goals have been broken into learning outcomes, number of learning outcomes. So, the resources are related to those learning outcomes. There are no specific textbooks when we talk about preschool 1, preschool 2 and preschool 3. Class 1 say, then we have textbooks of mathematics, Hindi, English, or if it pertains to some other states, so regional languages are there. So, like that the particular resources have been organized, developed and put on Diksha. So, they are outcome oriented basically.
Okay. When you say that it takes care of the health and well-being of the children, so that includes children with special needs and even children without special needs?
Yeah, it includes all. It includes children which we call the mainstream children and children with special needs also, and developing a healthy attitude towards each other.
Okay. Yeah. And when you said that there will be information in their native language as well. So, this platform we saw, will it be available in the native language like Marathi, Gujarati?
Because on Diksha, the very platform has different states as tenants on Diksha. So, there is login for each state. So, they are having all their digital books, all the states and UTs are having their digital books on Diksha. Like that, in future we are planning to have a separate space for FLN also for each state and UT, so that in their native language they can have FLN resources on Diksha.
Okay, that's great. That will be really easy for the regional states. Okay, ma'am, one more thing, like while you were explaining, so you were mentioning some codes. And you said that this is the code for this and that. So, are you saying that all the teachers and school heads, so they also know about these codes? Is there any training given to them?
Yeah, actually the Nipun Bharat mission document is already there on the FLN vertical of Diksha. And there is annexure 1 at the end of this document, where all the developmental goals and learning outcomes of those developmental goals are there. And these learning outcomes are codified, like for health and well-being is one developmental goal for preschool 1. So suppose there are 18 learning outcomes for preschool 1 for health and well-being. So those learning outcomes are codified. So that those codified outcomes can be accessed by the state, and if they are developing some material for that particular learning outcome, it will link to that particular code. So they are codified.
Okay, so the teachers know about it.
They know about it. They recently we had a regional workshop also where representative from all the states and UTs were invited, and they were oriented to everything about foundational literacy and numeracy. And this regional workshop was organized by Ministry of Education. And the venue was at CIT only, and they were oriented, the representatives were oriented to everything. They were, we took them through the Diksha portal also, so that they can see and access how these learning outcomes are codified and how resources can be accessed on Diksha.
Okay, okay. And ma'am, if I connect it with NEP 2020, why has this area emerged suddenly as an important area?
Actually, the importance of this particular area has been recognized long back.
Okay.
But the implementation part, there was something was missing in the implementation part, because there are certain research study, and you might have also heard about PISA, the scores,
yes,
where India lags behind in the achievement of foundational literacy and numeracy and the achievement of learning outcomes.
Okay.
So if a child is not proficient in a foundational literacy and numeracy, although there is nothing wrong with the cognitive development of a child, but he or she will lag behind in achieving the learning outcome, because language development is the basis of all future learning. Absolutely. If I don't know how to read and write, even though I understand the concept, but I won't be able to express it in a written language or through verbal communication. So a literacy, development of basic literacy is very, very important, which encompasses reading, writing and oral communication.
Absolutely.
So without that, although we are okay, our cognitive development is appropriate, but we will not achieve the learning outcomes.
So going by that, it's a wonderful step by the Government of India to have added.
And that is why this time it has been introduced in a mission mode, so that foundational literacy and numeracy can be taken up in a mission mode, and by the end of class 3, the lakshyas which are articulated can be achieved by all the children who are in class 3.
Okay, okay. So it's like very religiously taken by all the teachers.
Yes.
And they are following it, passing it on to their students.
Yeah, true.
Okay. Any message, ma'am, you have for our viewers, because we hardly have any time left?
Okay. So, as a teacher, we all must work towards achieving the goals of Nipun Bharat mission, so that by the end of class 3, as has been envisaged by the government and as NCERT is committed towards, all the children who enters class 3 and by the end of class 3 can achieve all the learning outcomes linked to the developmental goals which are there for foundation literacy and numeracy, because having taken care of that aspect, we will make sure that that our children do better for the during rest of their schooling. So that is very, very important, and let us all join our hands together to achieve the goals of this particular mission, because it is very, very important for the children of this country.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
And because we cannot take the risk of spoiling the childhood of or basic foundation of the children, we should not take this risk. And that's how FLN is extremely important, like you mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you to all the viewers for watching this session. I hope you've understood the concept of the resources mentioned in FLN, and please have access to this digital platform, and Diksha platform is available to you, and the worksheets and so many examples ma'am gave to us. So please have access to them, use them, and take benefit of it. Thank you so much once again. Stay happy, stay healthy, don't go anywhere. We're coming back with another special program of ours, Sahyog, guidance for mental well-being of the children, and it's a very important topic we are going to take up, which is substance abuse prevention and recovery. So stay with us, and if you have any questions, queries, please feel free to share with us on our email ID and also on our YouTube channel, which is ncertofficial. I'll take a leave of you. Thank you once again.